This one has been it's been bothering me for a while, and it's kind of built up over time, and I'm finally hit my boiling point with it. The phrase "I'm keeping receipts." Okay, I've had it. Like, I don't care if you're keeping receipts of people that have criticized you. Like, I'm not sure why it became like everybody needs to tell us now that they're motivated by people saying that they're not good enough or whatever criticism there is. And I think what bothers me more is, like, first of all, we're saying it way too much. I've had enough of the saying, number one. Number two, the reaction to it has gotten ridiculous. Now it's like, as soon as someone says, I keep receipts, then the media has to go find, well, who are they keeping receipts for? Who was criticizing them? What's the criticism? What So it's now we have to now causes the media to dig for it, which is just ridiculous. This is like, we all know how professional athletes are. Like, we all know how any athletes are, especially professional athletes. They're maniacally competitive, right? Anyone who tells them they can't do something or insinuates that they might not be able to do something is the enemy, and that's going to motivate them to do it anyway. But yet, every time an athlete says, well, I'm keeping receipts, or acts like he hears what everybody's saying, we're shocked. Like, wow, I can't believe that he's, motivated by, and it's the same thing when sports media complains about when athletes are like, well, I need my respect. They complain about, I need my respect. It's like, you shouldn't need respect. You're really good. Why? What do you need respect for? And it's like, you're not understanding the athlete's mindset. That's what their mindset is. When Ja Morant, after the game, he comes back, he's been suspended 25 games, makes the game-winning shot, and then yells as he's running to the locker room. Okay, he didn't come out. He didn't say this on social media. He didn't try to make it a big deal. He said, "Yeah, I'm keeping receipts." They asked him about it after the game. The reporter asked him about it. He said, "Yeah, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I heard what everybody was saying. And that's it." And he left it there. And it turns into this whole, everybody has to be a topic on everybody's show. Well, who's he keeping receipts for? I mean, he was the one in the wrong. What does he think? Who was criticizing him unfairly? Like, he was wrong. He should be keeping receipts. Why don't you be a little more humble? And it's just like, it's this old man sports argument that's just absolute nonsense. All athletes keep receipts. I'm here to tell you. Like, this is how it works. They all do it. So they don't need to. I think they should. My rule change here, or not rule change, but what I would like to see done is stop saying it. We all know you keep receipts. We get it. You don't need to say it out loud. You really don't. And the media needs to stop acting like a bunch of fucking children about this. What he said something about them. We gotta go find who it is. It's literally like we're in grade school, Clark, and somebody said something insulting to the other person. Everybody goes, ooh. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. It's like, enough of this nonsense. I don't care if you're keeping receipts. That's great. Whatever helps you motivated to play better, that's fine. I have no problem with it. Okay, if you want to lash out at somebody, go ahead.
You're keeping receipts. Like, where are you keeping them? Are they on paper? Do you have them like as notes on your phone? Or are we going to go to like a press conference and you're going to be like, yeah, so I've been keeping receipts, and I would just like to let you know what receipts that I've kept here. On June 17th, 2022, Dan Patrick said this. And so I would just like to say, scoreboard. No, like...
Well, and the other thing, Clark, is the media is shocked that people would be hearing what they're saying about them when they're national stories and everybody's fucking talking about them and criticizing them all the time about everything. And they're like, oh my God, why is the athlete so sensitive? It's like, dude, like, you're part of the problem.
We have social media. It's not like this is the old days where people would just, they'd write a newspaper column and there'd be the evening news and then maybe there'd be Sports Center. Okay. Now you've got all that, plus you have, Twitter and Instagram and all these shows on YouTube, and then obviously radio shows and TV shows. And I mean, and a lot of these shows get clipped and they get put online. So then that's it, and even another venue for these places to get traction for people to hear about it. So yeah, players are going to hear about it. I mean, it's like, most people are on social media. So it's, it's a lot harder to just be like, oh, well, I just go on, radio silence or whatever. You know, like, and there's probably some players that still do that, but in order to do that, like, you got to not be on social media. You got to not be on your phone. You got to just, I don't know, like, go. I mean, maybe it's like, and I don't even know if, I was trying to think of an example of somebody who's disconnected from this stuff. I don't even know if this is true. Is Kirk Cousins disconnected from this stuff? Is he just like spending time with his family or whatever? But I mean, he does have that whole thing where he went, you know, you like that? So it feels like he knows at least a little bit of something about what people are saying about him online or on TV or whatever. So yeah, it's it's like, oh, well, just don't pay attention to that. That's like you were saying, it's an old man argument, and it's kind of not, it's not really keeping up with the times and the way things are, you know, the way reality is right now.
Well, and the thing is, you go back, watch The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. He was hearing what everybody was saying, and that was in the 80s. Like, so this is, my point is, this is universal for athletes. They all feel this way. They're all motivated to get better, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's they're being human beings. But the way that we're treating it is just, we're blowing it way out of proportion. We're acting like, oh my God, this guy's so sensitive. It's like, no, man, he keeps receipts. Yeah, okay, great. Like, and by the way, to act like, and the other thing that specifically to the Ja Morant situation, people are acting like, oh, nobody criticized Ja Morant unfairly. I kind of disagree with that. Whenever anybody does anything, especially the situation he was in, there are plenty of people. By the way, the internet's a disgusting, scary place, by the way. There's plenty of people on the internet saying all kinds of stuff that I can't repeat on this podcast. So the idea that, oh, well, he wasn't being criticized that harshly, yeah, by you, maybe by you. But I do believe there is some you know, stuff that's said about athletes that's a bit over the top. But anyway.
Well, and people need to understand that there's a reason that you and I and a lot of other hosts and stuff are not professional athletes. They have a different mindset, especially on a team, and a team becomes very us against the world, us against them, you know, our backs against the wall, nobody believes in us. And so it's like, guys, yeah, that's what happens. So rightly or wrongly, if you criticize somebody in sports, on a team, a coach, a player, whatever, rightly or wrongly, a lot of teams are going to sort of rally around that person, you know, and there's going to be the whole us against, and it's like, guys, this is so old. We see this we saw this with Michigan, with the Harbaugh sign stealing thing, you know. I mean, everyone was like, oh, it's us against the world and all this other stuff. And like I said, rightly or wrongly, or however ridiculous that might be, that's how these athletes are.
Yeah, that's their mentality, and that's okay. We shouldn't be, I guess I get upset with the media because we shouldn't be surprised by it anymore. Like, we should have adapted to this. And when Dan Patrick complains about it, who's been covering sports for 40 years, it's like, dude, like, where have you been? Like, are you awake? Like, do you see what's going on? So anyway, all right, I could go on about that all day. All right, Clark, what's your next one?